second trimester. I should have had a cocktail, but like a mocktail, like maybe ginger beer because it's still beer, but it's not beer. Like root beer it's brewed. Brewed. Hello, welcome back to Learning Curves. I'm Anastasia, and today I want to talk to you about the second trimester of pregnancy. Recently, I talked about the first trimester of pregnancy and how it's the worst trimester, and today I want to talk to you about the second trimester and how it's the best trimester. It's not perfect, it has its flaws, we'll talk about those too, but let's celebrate that second trimester. It's weird. Trimester, second trimester. So the first few things that are great about the second trimester are that some of the issues with the first trimester get resolved. So a lot of us start feeling better. Some women, especially with hyperemesis gravidarum, lots of vomiting. For most women, your nausea is really starting to dissipate, your exhaustion is starting to dissipate, you're feeling better every day. And if you're not, I am so sorry, but I promise at some point you will no longer be pregnant and you will feel better. Another great thing about the second trimester is if you didn't already in the first trimester, you will get to hear your baby's heartbeat. You know, turning a strip blue or seeing the word yes on like a pea stick doesn't really have the same effect as hearing the actual beating heart of the person that you made. So for a lot of people, the pregnancy really becomes real because aside from nausea and tiredness, which some people don't even experience, it doesn't really feel real. It's like, okay, well, this thing said yes, but could it be not right? Just like we convince ourselves that we're pregnant when we're definitely not pregnant, there are plenty of times that I think we convince ourselves that we're not pregnant even though we are. And because you hear that heartbeat, because you have made it through the first trimester, numbers are looking great, you start to have excitement and hope about this new baby, and you get to start telling people, and you get to start sharing your excitement and leave that loneliness behind and get to tell the world, hey, I'm having a baby, which is also, I've always thought about how it's like, I make more pervy jokes when I'm pregnant because it's like, well, you know that I mean, you know how I got this way, right? And so I feel like it's kind of licensed to make inappropriate jokes, but it's also kind of weird for a pregnant lady to be making jokes about how she got pregnant. Whatever. I do want to warn you that telling people often opens some doors that you don't want to open. Once people know that you're pregnant, everybody decides they are going to give you all of their advice. I think because we feel so lonely in the experience. You know, there's so many things that we feel unprepared for, whether they be pregnancy or labor or delivery or labor and delivery is like the same thing, or postpartum or being a parent. Everybody wants to give you their opinion, and I think it comes out mostly out of a positive place. Some, I think it just comes out of I learned this thing, I found this trick, and we're all gonna find some tricks. And we're all gonna fail at some things. So yeah, it's exciting that you get to tell people, I'm pregnant, we're having a baby, this change is coming, but then everybody wants to tell you, great, now here are the ways that you should, the things you should eat, and the exercise you should do, and the preparation you should take, and here's how you should deliver, and here's how you should raise the baby, and here's whether you should find out or not find out if you're having a boy or a girl, or everybody's got opinions. Everybody does. There's some things I shared in my 5 things every new parent should know video that I think apply here. Watch some of that. But in short, trust your gut. Trust your gut. You are the mama or dad if you're watching the video, or other mom. You are the parent. Trust your gut. Take care of your baby. Okay. Maybe my favorite thing about pregnancy in general, I mean, aside from like making a person, is something you get introduced to usually in the second trimester, and that is maternity clothes. Oh my gosh, you guys, am I wearing a maternity shirt right now? Yes. Is it technically a nightgown? Yes. Because it's got snaps so I can just and feed my baby. With my first pregnancy, with both pregnancies, I had a fibroid that was rather large. So I looked about 8 months, nope. I looked about 8 weeks pregnant when I was 5 weeks pregnant. With that and with feeling nauseous, and you know when you're nauseous, you don't really want pressure on your belly, I started wearing maternity clothes pretty early in my first trimester of my first pregnancy. And yeah, sure, maybe you're not really showing, I think the uterus doesn't move outside of the pelvis until maybe it is week 14, 15 when you're starting to feel like your pants are tighter. I think that as soon as you are feeling like you want to wear maternity clothes, wear maternity clothes. Do it, do it, do it. And only stop when you feel like stopping. Because I'm not quitting, even though I am not pregnant. You know, we've been so conditioned to care about the size of our bodies, about getting larger and that being a bad thing. Your body is supposed to get larger to grow because there's a new body in there and it's filling a different function and it's supposed to be different to fill that function. And so please, please, please do not have any negative feelings, or I can't tell you how to feel, but be gentle with yourself as you are wanting to buy larger clothes soon. Go for it. Go for it. Comfort is the name of the game, especially if you just had nausea and exhaustion that first trimester. You need to marinate in some comfort. Get some maternity clothes. I mean, it's exciting. Baby's starting to grow. You know, if you're looking at, how big is baby each week, those things, which I roll my eyes, but I totally did it, both pregnancies. You know, in the beginning, it's like sesame seed, and it's like barely bigger each week. And then I remember the first week that it was like, baby's as big as a strawberry. And I was like, that's really big. Baby is a size that isn't teensy, and the sizes really get larger each week. And as your belly grows and as you start to show, people will start to treat you differently. Like the world is like, oh, like they like pregnant women more. It's cool. You feel special. I felt special. My sister joked about, I think it was my sister, anyway, about how the parking spots that are like reserved for new and expecting mothers, the moms who need it the most, except for moms who are like brand new postpartum and their bodies need all the breaks, are the mamas in that first trimester when you're feeling awful and you need a lot of breaks. I mean, yeah, in the third trimester, you're big, but honestly, I felt in shape in my third trimester. Not everybody feels that way, but I felt like the time I needed it was first trimester. Second trimester, it's like, oh, I can use it as like a novelty thing, which, I mean, use it, whatever. But, we start to show and people, you can get out of your vehicle and, oh, my belly, except for there's nobody around right now because quarantine, but soon people will see you. And they'll be like, oh, she's pregnant. Hi, how far along? When are you due? Is this your first? Let me tell you how to raise your child. And eventually they'll start touching you without asking, but not yet. Not yet. When your belly is like just kind of popping out, they still see it as your belly, not the baby. Really, the biggest thing I think that happens in the second trimester is the anatomy scan. This usually happens between 20, 22 months pregnant. No, why do I? Weeks. It feels like months sometimes. The anatomy scan usually happens between 20 and 22 weeks pregnant. And it is incredible the things they can see on that baby. That part's kind of cool that they're like, here are the 4 quadrants of the heart. And this is measuring this size and this is measuring this size. Well, my first daughter, Isabel, she had, I think they said she had a bright bowel. Like, I think that it was like, you guys, I did a bad job of explaining this when I recorded this video. In short, our ultrasound showed our baby had a bright bowel, which apparently meant an increased risk of cystic fibrosis and Down syndrome. We decided to have additional non-invasive testing done, which indicated both of those were unlikely, but we didn't know that until at least a month or 2 after the ultrasound. Unpopular opinion. I feel like the information that I have received and that I have heard a lot of people get from the anatomy scan often is just nightmare fodder. I wasn't going to do anything differently had I found out this baby probably had cystic fibrosis or this baby probably had Down syndrome. The only thing I could have done was learn more about what life looks like with cystic fibrosis and Down syndrome. But my understanding is that there's such a wide variety of severities of most of these conditions. I'm definitely not going to encourage someone to not get the anatomy scan if that's something that your care provider recommends. But I do want to encourage you to be prepared for them to say something potentially alarming and to understand that the likelihood that it's okay is very high. I ended up having a midterm ultrasound with my second baby, but it was from an ultrasound clinic. It wasn't at a hospital. So they were very clear, like, this is not diagnostic. But the woman who ran the ultrasound was still like, oh, here's this and here's that. And you can see these parts of this baby and this is definitely a girl. That's another thing. People are going to tell you whether or not you should find out. And I want to say that, again, just like with the ultrasound, with the anatomy scan, and with finding out baby's gender, honestly, for most people, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Is it fun and information you get to learn about this baby before you meet the baby? Yeah. Is it hard to wait to find out if you're gonna have a boy or a girl? Yeah. Did we do that? No. But I honestly, there's that whole cliche of like counting babies' fingers and toes, and that's sweet. And, absolutely learn about your baby and their digits, but I didn't care how many fingers and toes my babies had. I wouldn't have cared. I mean, aside from their health, I wouldn't have cared if my baby had cystic fibrosis or Down syndrome. You put that baby in my arms and you tell me anything, I don't care. You just tell me that's my baby. That's it. I'm in love. The last thing I want to say about the second trimester is that this is kind of the last peaceful bit of time you'll have for a while. Your change in stress level is going to kind of, whether it's this or this, it's going to keep going up for a little while until you kind of adjust to having a baby, postpartum, maybe 12 months postpartum. It's really tough, guys. But things are going to keep changing and getting harder, or at least keeping you on your toes for a while. So right now is the closest to your pre-pregnancy norm that you're going to have probably ever again. But now's the time to really enjoy stuff. If you've got big things you want to get taken care of before a baby shows up, this is a great time to do it. So many things could change. We could have a pandemic, you never know what's going to happen. So I recommend if you have something that you really want to get done during this pregnancy, go for it, mama. Now's the time. Second trimester. That's weird. So if you are in your second trimester of pregnancy, congratulations, you made it through that first trimester. If the second trimester is still hard for you, I am so sorry, but I promise it will end. And it might not be until you have a baby in your arms, but it will end. It will. That's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like this video and please consider subscribing. I'll see you next time. Bye.